No way, man. I'm not mad, Silent Killer. I'm not mad at all. What's everybody else on today? Did everybody see the Natasha Walker interview? Where she starts talking about Tupac snitching. You guys see that? I'm waiting to hear from you guys. Talk to me in the chat, people. It's funny, I'm actually seeing the chat pop up in OBS before I'm seeing it pop up in the actual chat. Thank you, Daphne, I appreciate it. So I basically did this this little live video just to discuss and answer any questions you guys got about Natasha Walker, because the latest interview, which is actually an old interview, it was up under the same name before Capricine Jackson copyright struck it because I used one of her husband's instrumentals in it. But it was up before. It had 168,000 views, and the reaction was a bit different. But it seems like now the reaction is a little bit more intense, so I wanted to talk to you guys. What's up, Derek? What up, Robbie? Light it up. JM Kazi's here. Yeah, I actually probably will light it up, to be honest with you. I'm not on camera, so you don't know what I'm lighting up. Anyway, 35 people on here. Do I think she was lying? No. No, I don't. And I want to clarify before the hate train comes, is I don't think that she was intentionally lying. I don't think that she set out to say something that was a lie, and I don't think that she was trying to defame Pac in that statement either. But she's an East Coast girl, and I think that people are failing to realize that a lot of people on the East Coast don't have love for Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. No, I'm just kidding. They don't have love for Tupac. You see Funk Flex's little punk ass running around, running his mouth. Guys, give me 1 second. I gotta grab something. Just give me 1 second. Bear with me. Okay, I'm back. But when Tupac did the courthouse appearance where he gave that interview, he said, "I'm being charged for being in concert with some dudes. Where are they at?" He also told AJ Benza, who was a gossip columnist whose interview is on my channel, that Haitian Jack was the reason that all this happened and he was a hanger-on. This was right after he posted bail. So, D'Angelo, do I think that he was snitching? No. No, I don't. But I think that other people might have saw it as him snitching. What's up, Dominique? Daphne said that you've listened to some of her old videos and she seemed like a hater. See, I disagree with you. I disagree with you a little bit, respectfully. I don't think that she's a hater. Well, you have to put in context who she was. This was Dr. Dre's girlfriend. And I'm pretty sure, and I'm just speculating here, that Tupac hit that. So I think the way, and you got to understand, these people are older now. She's like 40 years old. And Silent Killer, you're right. She probably was just repeating what she heard. The thing about this channel is, and I want everybody to realize this, I'm just an interviewer. I'm just a guy who interviews people. It's not really my job to challenge him. I mean, she fucking knew the guy. Who am I to say anything to her? I saw Pac once. So, you know, I saw him. I didn't know him. No doubt, D. Thank you. Thank you. No doubt. I did have to grab my lighter, Thomas. But here's the thing. There is a whole subset of people who think that Jimmy Henchman and the people at the Quad were also behind the murder of Tupac in Vegas. There's a lot of people that feel that way. I think she's one of those people. Trust me when I tell you that it surprised me just as much as it probably did you guys when she actually said that. I didn't know what to fucking say, but I understood it in the context that she meant it. And I think that what she meant, pause for the cause, y'all. I think what she meant was that a lot of people in New York were saying that he was snitching, and even Jimmy Hinchman came out and said that he was being punished. And who's the guy who shot him? Isaac, whatever his name is. He said the same thing. Oh, I would too. She's 40, but I still would. Yeah, me too. Mr. B, I did interview SIBO. That was a very fucking hard interview to conduct. Very hard. He didn't want to answer my questions. I didn't understand it. It's on here. It's on this channel. It's on my backup channel. It felt like a police interrogation. But Mike is absolutely right when he says, bottom line, people saw Tupac was a threat and therefore wanted him either locked up and dead. But I want to dispel, and this is my opinion, you guys are entitled to yours, but I wanted to dispel the thing that people think Natasha Walker is a nobody and that she's a groupie or a hanger-on or that she hated Pac. First of all, Natasha Walker is on more songs than probably anybody else with Tupac. She's on Thug Life, she's on Me Against the World, she's on All Eyes on Me, she's on some of the posthumous releases that we've seen, but kind of taken off. I don't self-snitch The Simpsons, so we'll call it a cigarette. Anyway, so she knew him really well, and I'm pretty sure that they had a personal relationship together. So I don't think that she's hating on him. I think what she's doing is, as a grown woman in her 40s, she's looking back at a young man in his 20s and retrospectively giving her opinion on how she sees it as an adult. And a lot of people, one guy made a good comment. He said that, you know, this is the truth whether you like it or not, or this is someone's opinion. You can't go after someone whether they have a good or bad opinion on Pac. I want to be honest with you guys. I have interviews that make Tupac look like less of a hero. The reason I don't put out those interviews is because of the tirade of hate. I get called a cracker. I get called a culture vulture. And all this is not because of anything I'm saying. It's because of what people who knew Tupac said. But I guess it's easier just to attack me than it is to, you know, kind of question what these people are saying. Now, Nancy Fletcher is available on Facebook and other social media. You could always ask her what she meant. I mean, I did. That's how I got a hold of her. But Euthanasia91 says it makes sense that the 94 incident could lead to the 96 shooting because Tupac exposed their ass. And you're right. Listen, he was exposing their ass up until the day he died. I mean, think about the last track on Machiavelli, Against All Odds. He names him. And he even says, he's like, say his name, say his name. So, Euthanasia91. Are you the guy on Instagram that's sharing that Keefy D shit and has all my videos up there? Is that you? I don't know why Tupac fans would share the Keefy D thing. Two reasons. If you believe murder rap, then Keith Davis is responsible for killing Tupac. So why would you support that motherfucker? Or if you don't believe that, then he's just obviously a motherfucker trying to profit off Tupac. Why would you support that? Yes, D, you're right. As big as a fan you are today, you didn't understand him back then the way I do today. Exactly, me too. There's a story about, it's called the Bullet Train story, and it's told by Digital Underground's road manager / security. And he said that when Digital Underground was in Japan, that Tupac was on a bullet train. And Japanese are known for being very prompt and very on time. They're very prompt. And the bullet train had never been late in the history of it. So Tupac and Digital Underground are on this train, and Tupac is playing a ghetto blaster, you know, one of those old big boom boxes. And he's playing it real loud, and, you know, the Japanese people are kind of meek, and they're getting freaked out. Because, you know, you got a group of young black men, which is not that common in Japan. This ain't a race thing. But, you know, it's scaring these people. They got a group of young black men playing music real loud. So, the people in the train, they go up to, the people that operate the train go up to Tupac and say, look, you got to turn that down. We have laws in Japan that say that you can't interrupt someone's transportation, and by you playing this music, you're interrupting someone's transportation. And Tupac, being Tupac, said, fuck you, and kept playing it. So they stopped the bullet train. And when they stop the bullet train, the Japanese army gets on the bullet train. And they take their time to inform Tupac what law he's violating, that it's a felony, it's a minimum sentence of 20 years with no trial. At that point, the person who gave the interview, Digital Underground's road manager and security, said Tupac started crying. Now, if I put that out, if I put that interview out, right, that Tupac started crying, how much hate would I get? How many people would call me a fucking culture vulture, piece of shit, motherfucker who's putting out bullshit about Tupac? Lots. I don't have it on my desktop, or I'd play a clip right now. Sensei says get over his murder. I'm not really caught up on his murder. I don't wake up in the morning thinking about who killed Tupac. Thank you, Life of PSD. That's the homie right there. Shout out to you. And I'm reading you, Mike. I'm just trying to get all these talking points because I only got a limited amount of time. So, fuck, I forgot what I was saying. That's that short-term memory for you. Oh, the murder. Look, I am no expert on who killed Tupac. I'm going to be the first person to tell you that. I wasn't in Vegas. I was 16 years old when it happened. I don't know more than anybody else. What I do know is evidence that's been presented to me and some of the case files that RJ Bond has showed me that were Russell Poole's. I've seen the case files as of about 1998. So there's more case files I haven't seen. And I've done several interviews. And all I do is I kind of form an opinion based on what the popular consensus is. The popular consensus with people who knew Tupac is that he was killed by the government. That's their opinion. We're talking about family, close family of Tupac's, and the close friends. They all think this. They think the government did it. Some things should be left in the past. I agree. But the thing about a Tupac channel is it's unavoidable to talk about his death. I can't avoid that. Now, I understand that people might not agree with everything that's being said, and I get it. And I'm not mad at you guys. Like, I don't get mad at that, because everybody has a right to their opinion. What I have a problem with, though, is people taking it personal. Look, I mean, if we want to get it out of the way, you're right, Dominique. People do forget that Tupac was human. And I'm going to go back to that just in 1 second. So if we want to get it out of the way, I'm a white guy. I'm a culture vulture. I am milking Tupac's name for money. I'll be whatever you want me to be. That's fine. But the simple fact of the matter is, you guys are censoring yourself. Now, not my main day ones that I see in here. There's a lot of cool people here. I'm talking in general, so don't be upset. But people are censoring themselves. Because when a video like Natasha Walker's goes up and you disagree with it, it's like, 15 dislikes. It fucks up the algorithm on YouTube, and then my videos gets less views. So long story short is, when you don't hear somebody out, maybe listen to the full interview or what clips are up, and you just see the title and hate it and then downvote it, it makes me cautious to put out other stuff. I've got a lot of real interesting stuff, but the politics is, like Dominique said, people forget that Tupac was a human being. I mean, he wasn't a god. He was just a regular guy. He made it big. He was a very inspirational dude. He was a very talented dude. He's the greatest rapper that ever lived. He was a really good actor. But he was just a guy. He went through trials and tribulations. And I'm going to tell you guys something. I've spent almost 10 years interviewing people that knew Tupac, and I need to say this to you. Tupac was not Billy Badass. He was not a fighter. Tupac wasn't scrapping people in the street. I'm not saying that Tupac didn't beat people's asses. But usually Tupac would beat people's asses with a group of other people. But that's something that you can't say publicly. And that's the point of this Are You Mad Bro live stream. Is, do you guys want to hear what people have to say that knew Tupac Or are you going to get mad when it goes against something that you think that he is? Now, I'm not going to put out someone saying Tupac was like a faggot or something. I'm not going to do that. But there's stuff that I have. There's actually a lot of shit that I have that I'm scared to put out. Scared to put out. I don't want to lose subs and lose views and people fucking trash talk me. I'm a person too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't give a big shit, but you know how many times that I will just, you know, be on YouTube looking for Tupac videos like you guys, and I'll see some video slamming me? It's fucking crazy. I'm like, holy shit, I was watching this dude's video. It's a pretty good video. And he's slamming me. Holy shit. So, with all the love and adoration comes a lot of hate. Anyway, I'm going to read some of these comments. Fuck it. You guys are watching. This isn't very interesting. I just wanted to kind of explain the Natasha Walker interview because it got so much blowback so quickly. I've not listened to all of Little Sean's interviews. What I'm going to do, though, I'm going to pick that motherfucker apart, Jay, and I'm going to start doing response videos because I'm seeing people like Mike Carlin and Tanique just saying outlandish shit, and I even was on Tupac forum today agreeing with Murder Rap about how much of a nutcase Mike was. That's what he's doing. He's making it to the point where I'm agreeing with fucking Mike Dorsey. I mean, that's just wrong. But anyway, I'm going to start doing response videos to videos like his and videos like Lil Sean's. So, I haven't watched the whole thing, but I do plan on it, and I plan on picking it apart. Because I know something about the guy. Daphne said you're still not feeling her. She sound like so. She might, and you know what? Listen. Natasha Walker, Daphne, to respond to you, Natasha Walker had it all. She was with Dre. And from what I kind of gathered was, if you catch an earlier part of the interview, she said that Dre got really mad when she would go to the studio with Pac, and that she had to end up sneaking around to go record with Pac. You know that drove a wedge between her and Dre. So Natasha Walker was a woman who had it all, and maybe, and I'm speculating, but maybe an affair cost her a lot, because Dre can blackball you. Don't get it twisted. If Dre doesn't want you to work again, you fucking won't. And there's story after story after story after story of it. White men can jump. You crazy. Alright. So Shadowcat, you said exactly he wasn't a puppet and they hated the fact that... That's right. Listen, Tupac had a temper. And I'm going off what I'm told. But a lot of people talk about his temper. And it wasn't always the hit him up kind of temper. Sometimes it was... I don't want to insult him because I'm a fan. First and foremost, I'm a fan. But I've been told that Tupac could be very, very petty sometimes and get into very, very petty arguments and beefs. If you guys want to know the truth, Man said that when Tupac was shot at Quad Studios, Biggie took a gun. He hid it in one of Tupac's guns. He was out on bail. He was not allowed to have guns. But Biggie took one of his guns and he hid it for him when he got shot at the Quad. And then he went back to see Tupac in the hospital, and he gave him the gun back while he was in the hospital. So Tupac knew that Biggie wasn't as bad as he said he was. But some beefs were petty, and Tupac was not perfect. So I hope, you know, and I'm not asking everybody to blindly believe Natasha Walker. I hope that everybody would formulate their own opinion, and I'm not trying to sway your opinion. I talked to her a little bit off record, and I get the feeling that she had a lot of love for Pac, and there might be some old history there. And I don't agree with her about the Quad Studios leading to Tupac's death. I don't exactly agree with her that Tupac was a snitch, but I could very well see how other people would be saying that. I mean, that's just a fucking fact. That courthouse interview, the Daily News printing that article, the fucking, what was it, the Vibe article when he was in prison. I mean, this Tupac, you couldn't shut up Tupac. And that's what we love about him. But it's one of those things. You got to take the good with the bad. The guy he was the greatest rapper of all time, but he was not Jesus, or he was not Muhammad. He was just a human. Just like me and you. Okay, I'm going to catch up. Daphne says you want to hear everything, the good, bad, and the ugly. Right on. Well, hey guys, listen. If you disagree with like someone I'm interviewing, say, "Yo, appreciate the upload, but this is why I disagree with her." That way I know, because I'm look. I have a platform and I want to give you guys what you want. And if I see that you don't like a certain thing, I switch it up. My content is better than this conspiracy vids. Sensei Rep, dude, I'm not, like I said earlier in the live stream, I'm not a big conspiracy theorist. I fought with RJ and this is also in the Controversy Radio interview, and I hope they play it, but I fought with RJ pretty hard about the little half-dead theory, and I'm not exactly sold on it. I'm sold on the patents, but it's like, you know, that's the thing that's been going on with Mike Carlin. Like, I don't have to agree with every single thing he says, but when someone starts to get way the fuck out in the pasture, and you're calling them back, and you're like, Mike, come on back, and they just keep getting farther out in the pasture, sometimes you gotta slap your little brother in the face, and that's what I'm doing. Thank you, Adam. Keep up the good work, Jesse. Truth is more powerful than anything. If people can't handle the truth, fuck them. We have to take the good with the bad. He was human. I agree with you. And that's really what this live stream is. I'm just trying to explain. Pretty much, I'm the behind the scenes of the interview. And I don't like it when I see that, you know, that I'm here to culture vulture off his death. Look, I see a lot of new YouTube channels. But I've been doing this since 2009. This channel that you're watching right now has been taken down 3 separate times, and I fought all those copyright strikes and brought it back 3 separate times. I've been doing this since 2009. I think I should at least get somewhat of a pass for that, but you know what, I'm not going to cry about it. I need to come on live more often. Sure. See, here's the thing though. I'm not a fan of the video blog, like someone talking into a camera. That's never been me. This whole channel has never really been about me. Like, I'm very uncomfortable sitting in front of a camera. I filmed for A&E's Who Killed Tupac. I flew out there and I filmed the segment for them because they wanted more information on the patent theory, and they asked me to be on their show, and I thought that was fucking awesome. So I flew out there, and it was the most uncomfortable thing in the world. I don't want the spotlight on me, and I never really enjoyed videos where people just talk into a camera. Sensei Rip asked me, is Mike Carlin credible? I can't, you know what, I can't answer that. When I met Mike Carlin, everything he told me checked out. Every time I've spoken to him personally, I've never heard none of the crazy shit that he's saying on his YouTube channel, but he's saying some shit that I don't agree with, and he's not talking to me, and as far as I know, he's not talking to RJ. And I've said this, and I'll say it again, it's almost like he's our opposition now. It seems like he's trying to do everything he can to damage what was said in Battle for Compton. And I believe in the project Battle for Compton, or I wouldn't have had my name on it. Now, like I told everybody else, there's a lot of shit I don't agree with, but I think the gist of it is in Battle for Compton. Trent asked me what my history with AGTV is. Why do you have beef? I didn't know who the guy was. He would comment on my videos, but he would always say some hater ass shit. And I get a lot of comments, but like it stuck out to me. And I noticed it, like patterns of it. I'm like, who is this DJ AG guy? And I went to his channel and I saw what he did, and I'm like, oh, this guy kind of does what I do on my back channel, like takes little clips from Instagram and shit. And I'm like, that's cool. And I never really had a problem with him until that Greg Kading interview came out. And that was their attempt to lie and take a shot at me, because that's the only way they could respond to the patent video. We caught RJ Bond caught the patents lying, dead to rights. We caught all their jump edits, and instead of addressing that, they tell this same old story that I said, that people don't care about the truth, they want content. I'm gonna shock you guys. I said something similar to that, but I wasn't talking about Greg, and I wasn't talking about Tupac assassination. I was talking about Gobi. We were having a conversation because right around the time Gobi was doing the 7 Days Project. And Gobi was telling a story that he was the main bodyguard for Tupac at the hospital. And I said, people don't really care about the truth, they just want his content. Am I wrong? Does anybody care what Gobi's story is, or do people just want to see his fucking footage? And when I seen DJ AG and Greg Kading prop that up in an interview, take me completely out of context, and it's actually written in text. So it's provable. What I'm saying is provable. I'm just waiting to see if they'll put it out, because I have it. Do they have it? But it was, listen, long story short, is the DJ AG thing was, I guess he thought if I have a slightly larger platform than he does, so I figured that if he bit at my ankles, he would get me to respond, and I did. And I'm not mad at him for that. It's just, I don't like it. Listen, if you have a channel, there's got to be a level of being professional. And if you can't, look, nobody takes the internet tough guy shit seriously. Right? Like, do you take it seriously when someone talks shit at you at a comment? Like they're going to come see you? Fuck no. And I can't take it either. Alright, I'm going to skip a shit ton of comments and go to the bottom, because I guess people are just leaving in hordes. But you want me to upload the whole Daryl Harper video? I will. This month. I'll upload it. It's got about 20 minutes at the end that's really, really good. But yeah, I already have it rendered. Matt Vision says you're right. The DVD Thug Immortal talks about Tupac doing that kick on the ground, and yeah, and it got the same response. The Kendrick Wells, who was it? Oh, AJ Benza said that too, and it got the same response, because people don't want to hear bad stuff about their hero. Okay, so I answered the AG thing. Okay. Pac footage, of course. The fart Tanique did was a conspiracy. That's kind of funny. 48 seconds in his Yasmin Fula video, he farts. It's hilarious. I'm a fucking rat. Stop stealing information from Tanique and RJ Bond. Suck a dick. Alright. No, Gobi's not dead. Gobi just got banhammered by the estate, because Gobi was work for hire. He didn't have the copyright to that footage. It actually belonged to Tupac's estate, and they basically shut him down. And they said, here's the deal, Gobi, we're going to make you an offer you can't refuse. And what they did is they said, you're going to give us all your fucking material. We're not going to give you anything, and you are not going to lease that footage, because the original lawsuit was saying you're making money off this footage and you have been for 20 years. So Gobi runs around now and he copyright strikes everything, even though he doesn't have the copyright to it. So the estate doesn't think he's licensing the footage. Update on the Reggie Wright situation. Okay, John, update on the Reggie Wright situation is Reggie Wright appeared, said I'm not guilty, and they set a court date. But that paperwork is not available in the way that we get it. Reggie Wright Sr. appeared, his attorney appeared, but he stayed in California. He has an ankle bracelet on, and he is claiming medical problems. So there's no mystery about that, but once the trial gets going, they're going to wheel his ass in there. When is my next upload? I mean, but before I go to that question, that's really all that's going on with Reggie Wright. It was just a simple appearance. There's not any breaking news on it. I wish there was. The Suge Knight shit's way more interesting. Thanks, Life of PSD. I appreciate it. No need for that, but bro, I appreciate it. Thank you, Shadow Cats. I appreciate that you fucks with me, son. You know what? I do have a Johnny J interview. Mike put out a good portion of it. That pissed me off a little bit. No, it was Mountain Dew I was drinking. I have dry mouth. Do I think the Suge is getting out? No. No, I don't. They're going to put his ass under the jail. And I think this new charge is because they knew that they weren't going to get him. They knew they weren't going to get him on that hit and run. It's so plain as day that that's a self-defense. I mean, any lawyer could have got him. Basically, he could have pled guilty to it and got time served if they'd have dropped it down to like a involuntary manslaughter. So I think that they knew that they had a weak case, so they brought another case against him that they keep in their back pocket. And DAs will do that. I've been in trouble with the law a couple times, and what they do is when they arrest you, let's say they arrest you for fighting, they'll arrest you for battery and assault and disorderly conduct, and they'll hit you with 3 charges for the same thing. So if they can't get you on the battery, they'll get you on the assault. They can't get you on the assault, they'll at least get a disorderly conduct. They're hedging their bets. And Felix Gary Gray, the cops have known about this since August, since it happened. So they were keeping this in their back pocket. That's how you know they're probably not going to get a conviction on that murder. Now I'm calling it. All right. Who killed Tupac? I believe that Sharifa Knight, for the 90th time, by the way, that Sharifa Knight and Reggie Wright conspired to kill Suge Knight. And I believe that they used Crip gang members and 2 blood hitmen, Malcolm and Danny Patton, to take out Suge. I think that Tupac was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and what everybody has to keep in mind is Tupac didn't really plan on going to Vegas. But they had Suge dead to rights. The only people that could have got them where they were at the exact time without a 1 in a billion shot was security. So that's who I believe killed Tupac, and there's no evidence that can refute that right now. Mr. Rich says, has Yasmin put out any other info or footage since Facebook post about the crows or any other fact? No, she hasn't, but I got a chance to talk with her son. Big things are coming. Had a couple haters on her Facebook talk shit about me, but Yasmin has basically given me somewhat of a blessing to work on something bigger. She's going to have projects. I think she is ready to talk. Now, I'm speculating. I don't want Yasmin to hear this and think that I'm speaking for her, because I'm not. But I think it's time. And I think that that's what she's trying to convey, that it's time. And when Yasmin talks, it's like a lion roaring. Why won't I unblock Galen Kane? I don't know how. The rape case killed the movie opportunity. Explain that, Mark. Galen Kane is a troll in the live streams. Keep turning, and yeah. You going to Vegas, J-Mix? I will be in Vegas probably when the fight is going on with McGregor Mayweather. Now, I won't be at the fight because I don't have $5,000 for nosebleeds, but I will be there. And I'm going to try, if I do get to go, I'm going to try to get into, pay $1,500, get in that after party with Conor McGregor. Because I'm a Conor McGregor fan. Not because I think he can beat Mayweather, just because I like the kid's balls. I don't know where they took the Cadillac after the shooting, but John, this is like the Lincoln video. The only place that would make sense is the one little bitty turnoff between Vegas and the California state line, and that is in Baker. That's why that video was shot in Baker. It's literally a junkyard right off the interstate, right before you get to the checkpoint as you're going into California. So I think if they ditched the car, they did it in Baker, they did it in Nevada, because there was an all points bulletin for, I don't think it was a Cadillac though. I think they put it out for like a white Sentra. Mike, I don't know how to unblock him, so I'm not even worried about it. Quincy Jones sent in lawyers for Tupac to audit death row. Tupac was in the process of an audit. He was dating Quincy Jones's daughter. It was serious. I've not seen like paperwork proof of that, but I think that is very logical to assume. And I mean, it's believable. I would like to see more proof. Danny wants to fuck me in my booty. Okay. I'm not a fag. But it's cool if you are. Nothing wrong with that. And Suge used Pac as a shield, yet he claims he held Pac down. Bullshit. As many times Suge has reacted in fear, run over. Perfect example. You're right. Look, I don't know what he was doing. But I believe that when the shooting happened, he did like jump on top of him and duck down. But at the same time, Tupac was trying to climb into the back seat, so that does shield Suge. So I don't really know what happened, but there's a case could be made for either or. PJ Matthews, if you say who do I have in the Conor McGregor fight versus Mayweather, Mayweather. Now, if it was a MMA match, I would have McGregor all day. Like McGregor told Mayweather, he said if this was a real fight, you'd be unconscious already. I believe that, but Mayweather's he's the best defensive boxer there is. The only reason I would like to see Conor McGregor win is not because I dislike Mayweather. It's because Mayweather's last 5 fights that I've paid for have been boring as fuck. Look, if you like technical boxing and you like watching that shit, hey, that's your gig. Hey, whatever. I want to see someone fight, and he hasn't knocked out somebody in what is it? It's close to like 20 years. So I would like to see a knockout, and the only person that's going to give a knockout is going to be McGregor, in my opinion. So I'd like to see the upset. I like to root for the underdog. But don't get me wrong. In boxing, nobody's better than Floyd Mayweather. And it's arguable if Conor McGregor is the best in the MMA. But we're kind of off subject. Cali had checkpoints back in, it's really weird. They have checkpoints because it's a heavily populated city right there at the border when you go into LA. And it was basically served as like a fruit checkpoint at first. But you have to understand, there's a lot of DHS checkpoints. Even now. There's more DHS checkpoints now. So, but there is a checkpoint between Baker, California, and I think it's San Diego that you start to go into from Nevada, if I'm not mistaken. Fire stick it, yeah, no shit. Did Tupac have to go to Vegas for a community service concert for the Las Vegas Metro Police Department? There is no paperwork that says that. I've heard that, but to prove that, there's no paperwork that proves that. So I would have to say no, even though I've heard that story many times. There's just nothing to back it up. And that's the problem with like the Mike and Tanique videos. They just say shit that they heard. Doesn't make it true. And listen, the people that I interview, just because they knew Tupac and they say what they say, like Natasha Walker, doesn't make it true. But I'm trying to interview the person. I don't want to argue with them. And see, and this is the thing. When I say it's politically correct to go on Vlad TV, like what BG Knockout did. Look, I've watched BG Knockout for years deny that Orlando Anderson did it. He gets in front of Vlad and he gets real soft about that because he doesn't want to be challenged. He doesn't want Vlad to go, okay, well then who did it? That's the question that BG Knockout didn't want to answer. And I think that mentality of not wanting to be argumentative with the person interviewing you, I did with her. I didn't want to push her about his death so much because I wasn't focused on Natasha Walker's opinion of his death. I was more focused on Tupac leaving death row and the beef between Dre because I know she saw it firsthand. Gino says, what do you think about Faison Love's interview saying Snoop could have prevented Pac from getting killed? I posted that on my backup channel. I think he was talking about what I just told a good buddy last night, that even if DPG wasn't involved with the murder, some of them had advanced knowledge of it. And I think that's exactly what Faison Love is saying. Well, it is exactly what Faison Love is saying. I think DPG, listen to Badass's interview on my channel that says the real reason DPG wasn't in Vegas. I mean, it's pretty compelling, and that's usually the story too. Is the only dog pound person in Vegas was Nate Dogg at Club 662 because Nate was kind of his own dude. Shy Weezy says, tell them hating, but yeah, kiss my ass, guys. But who was Al Giddens? You keep hitting it. Al Giddens was a security guard for Right Way Security, if I'm not mistaken. I do have more studio footage of Frank Alexander. Adam, yeah, I'm you're right about the fruit checkpoints, but that's what they were originally built for, but now they just use them. You know how cops are, just to fuck with people, to stop people, see if they're leaving Vegas drunk, seeing if they're driving without. They got to make that quota. See you, Memstar. I appreciate you checking it out. I don't know what happened to Knockouts, brother. Thank you, Daphne. Thank you. Yes, Dominique, you said you remember that Frank saying he had footage of Tupac. Do I know what happened to it? I absolutely do. I have it. It was a VHS tape. It's about 20 minutes long. It's 18 minutes and 54 seconds. And here's a funny story about it. RJ had it digitized, transferred from VHS to professionally have it digitized to a digital format. The funny story about that is, you see in the footage, Frank's wife was recording with a separate camera. But Frank's wife was so into looking at Tupac and not paying attention that the whole fucking time she never pushed the actual record button. So she stood there for a couple hours not recording Tupac. I always thought that was hilarious. Marcus, you said about, as far as I Ain't Mad at You, Hail Mary video, the way Suge was portrayed in those videos, don't you find it spooky? It's a little odd, but you got to remember, I Ain't Mad at You was filmed way before Tupac was shot. I don't see how that makes him look bad, but Hail Mary, God knows what was going on at that time. Suge wasn't even really around much at that time. He was dealing with legal shit like a motherfucker, and Death Row was just, it was pretty much anybody that could put anything together. I have a very interesting story about how the Suge Shot Me got into the first part of Machiavelli, and that will be up this month. I know what sample it is, I know the guy who did it, I know why he did it. I'll give you a hint. Reggie Wright told him to do that, to implicate Suge in that record. And he says that. So I have that statement. And why would Reggie Wright try to implicate Suge in a record that he knew was going to sell millions of copies of? Why would he do that? I'm not going to answer that, but I mean, think about it. Why would he do that? I know, John Calloway, I know for a fact that Snoop watches my videos. When the, well, Daz does, obviously. But no, when the Silky Fine interview aired, Snoop Dogg went on Instagram talking about people eating off of him. And then I get an email from Daz Dillinger telling me that not to speak down on the champ and to pull the video. So I'm pretty sure that that's what he was referring to. And with Big Flossie, I'm only the second outlet Big Flossie's ever spoke on about Snoop. I know Snoop watched that video. Because believe it or not, I've stood in Long Beach. I can go there. Snoop really kind of has a you got to pay hood tax to come here type mentality going on in LBC. Look, he's a popular rapper, so he's always going to have love from some people. But there's a lot of the OGs, whatever this means for anybody, but a lot of the OGs they don't respect him because honestly, he's probably not feeding them enough. Actually, new interviews with Rick Clifford. No, but the interview I did with Rick Clifford was 3.5 hours, and I only put out about 50 minutes of it. Frank didn't have any recordings of Tupac put away. Mark, the reason I can say that is Frank had, in that video of Frank's, there's 3 unreleased beats that have still never surfaced. And there was 2 unreleased songs. Frank had tried several times to get the songs lifted from the VHS tape because Frank was really excited about having Reincarnation. And you got to remember that at the time Reincarnation hadn't leaked, and the real good quality of it leaked right around the time he died, which is, yes, Bomb First did have a Daft Punk sample called Da Funk. Yes, but here's a little secret that you guys might not be aware of. Only the radio version has that sample in it. If you listen to the album version of Da Funk, that is not in there. And here's the weird thing about it. If you look at the credits for the clean or radio version video version of Da Funk that has the Suge Shot Me sample in it, it's copywritten in 1997. So by the time that they had put that sample in, that record wasn't available to the public. That's some weird shit. So, okay. Release it. You know what? I've played a lot of it in live streams. I'm probably going to put it up in full for my Patreons. I just don't want RJ getting mad at me. Even though I got it from Frank, I just, there's politics with that. I'm not going to rap. Okay, Shy Weezy. Jesse, was Dre ever questioned about what? About the murder of Tupac? I've never seen a police report that says he was. And trust me, guys, I've got a lot of shit. I've got a lot of paperwork. And I got it from RJ Bond. RJ Bond has pretty much the fucking murder book. How close are we to actually getting an official statement saying the case has been solved? And do I think that Kadada will speak on her time with Tupac? I know for a fact that Kadada will speak on it because she's going to be in the A&E special, Who Killed Tupac, in January of 2018 on A&E. So we will hear from her. Maybe not on my channel, but we will hear for her. And how close are we getting an official statement? You know what? I don't know. I'm excited because of the Reggie Wright Jr. case. I think if anybody starts talking, it'll be Reggie Wright, and he'll start talking about Biggie. And that case details will spill out. And I think if Reggie Wright tries to implicate Suge Knight in the Biggie murder, then Suge Knight is going to turn around and do what he did with Thaddeus Culpepper, and he's going to implicate Reggie Wright Jr. and Sharifa Knight in the murder of Tupac. Because I know Thaddeus Culpepper came out after that and said, I never said that, but I think Controversy Radio showed by leaking his phone calls that he very well did say that, and he had to come out and protect his own well-being. And Jeff, when you say that Snoop can't go back home unless he pay a tax, that's fucking true. It's true, dude. I mean, look, are fans gonna like give him a problem if they see Snoop in Long Beach? No. But the OGs will. Let an OG see Snoop rolling around. And see, that's the thing, is Snoop, and that's part of the problem. Snoop doesn't go to Long Beach. He doesn't just roll around by himself. He goes 3 cars deep with security. And then he shoots like little Instagram videos, and it pisses the OGs off because, yeah, he's got to pay a tax. Marcus Williams says that makes perfect sense for Reggie to do that when Reggie goes on Lloyd Lake calling Suge a snitch. Absolutely. Yes, I did I was the only person to interview Lloyd Lake. Lloyd Lake is on my channel. When they put that shit out, I got the only interview with Lloyd Lake. So just Google search J-Mix Lloyd Lake. I did a whole interview with him. I kind of took it to him, too. I don't like Lloyd Lake. Well, I didn't like what he was saying. Let me correct that. I don't really have a problem with him. Free them all, you know I am. Adam Barton, there are more pics of the autopsy. I've been told that there are 3, but I've not seen them. That there were 4 pictures total. And that there's 3 other ones. But that hospital picture is a fucking fake. And I can prove it's a fake. And I have... Danny Boy posted a picture of him in UMC Hospital. So you see exactly what the walls look like, the robes look like, and he's in the ICU at the same time Tupac was dying. He took a picture with this little girl. And if you compare that room, which is an ICU room right next to Tupac's, to any of these pictures, when they don't match up, that's how you know they're fake. And I think if you go on Danny Boy's Facebook, you can find that picture. I have it, but it's in a fucking file somewhere. Shy Weezy, I have written to Matulu. If he writes me back, it'll be on my channel the day he does. Did Controversy Radio talk bad about Frank Alexander? Not to my knowledge. Thank you, Shadow Cat. I'll see you later. Appreciate you stopping by. Did I hear from Big Flossie? What you mean, DJ Gary? I've got his phone number. I've talked to him a few times. Actually, when the video that we did went viral, and I hope he doesn't get mad that I say this, I sent him 45% of that money because I had to pay taxes on the other part of it. But that Flossie video made like $1,600 by itself, and I sent him his cut. Me and Flossie have a very good relationship. Shout out to you, Leslie. Do I think that Suge Knight Kevin Brown, you asked that Suge Knight's wife had something to do with Tupac murder. Absolutely. But I don't think that she set it up to be a Tupac murder. I think she was just setting it up to kill her husband. Think about this. If Suge Knight would have been shot dead in his house, who'd the first suspect be? His wife. But see, the fact that Suge Knight didn't die, that he didn't get a fatal hit, is indication of why the investigation kind of went a different direction. AJ says, go to Machiavelli board Rod Dib interview. He's Gaddafi's cousin and he explains how he died in full detail. It was pure murder. I talked to Yasmin Fula's people, and that's how I'm going to refer to the person I talked to. They kind of... No, I can't say that. I'm sorry, guys. That article has some fallacies in it, and some of it's true. But yes, it's a good read, the Rod Dib interview. Gino says, J-Mix, why no one ever talks about the first crime scene? They always talk about the car crash. Do you know what they said about the scene? Yes, they tried to coordinate it off, and it actually took them, I think it was like 45 minutes to an hour to locate Koval and Flamingo because of all the shit that was going on. So there was like 45 minutes to an hour where the whole crime scene where the shooting took place, there was no cops at. And whatever casings, I think they found a couple casings, and the casings that they found have been run over 50 times. So that crime scene was just fucking bogus. Leslie, you can't find the Michael Moore interview. That belongs to RJ, and I deleted it. But that's all I know about that, Gino. There's a lot of speculation and a lot of mystery surrounding what Vegas did and didn't do, which is very odd. Some people say that it you know, Las Vegas being a gang city, that it's to be expected, but you know, it's a little weird. Dane Watts, did I notice that Timmy Rue was hesitant on saying Orlando was the shooter, or are you the only one that noticed? No, actually, I noticed that too. And at first, I wanted to be a hater. I wanted to hate on that Timmy Rue interview. But I think that for the most part, he was telling either what he believed to be true or the truth that that was told to him. Sorry, I was interrupted. But Timmy Rue was hesitant on saying that, and that shows a lot. And he also says something about Reggie Wright being everywhere anytime he wanted to be, or something like that. But yeah, it's very suspect. So as much as I wanted to hate on the Timmy Rue interview, I couldn't, because the guy dropped a lot of knowledge. But I do think that the reels, I don't think those are Tupac reels. Can I get an interview with Asada? You know what? Now that we lifted the sanctions on Cuba, the United States of America, I might do that, but it's getting a hold of her. I would have to do that through Matulu, and like I said, I've reached out to him, I've written him. I got, you know, if he answers me back, he would be the only person that could really put me in contact. I don't see Pac's family doing it, just because, you know, I mean, she's the FBI's most wanted woman. You know, they couldn't trust me to not, you know, turn her in, I guess. I wouldn't, but, you know. Rafael Perez interview is very possible, Von Charles, and I'll tell you a story. Mike Carlin was in Hollywood at a party, and he's sitting there, and he's being asked about the Tupac case, and it's fucking Rafael Perez's daughter. And he's talking all about Rafael Perez, and she goes, you know, that's my dad, right? That's some funny shit. DJ Gary, just a fan? All about Asia, what's up? Seen your Instagram. I didn't know you were a YouTuber. I checked out some of your stuff. It looks good. Keep doing it. I like the clear makeup purse. But no, I checked your shit out. And I didn't know you were a YouTuber. That's pretty cool. The Supra was low on gas. Adam, the thing about the Supra chase is, it's, some people said it happened, some people didn't. They can't really put their thumb down on it. For as many people that say it happened, there's like 4 to 1 that said that it never happened. Yeezy says you went to Cuba. It's very safe. I'd love to go there. Is it expensive? How's American? I don't know. Yeah, you're American. I remember in the last chat. So how does our money translate there? Is it more or is it less? I'd like to go. Yeah, I think it's very strange that Gaddafi was killed right after it, and so does Yasmin Fula. Set Secure is a hard get, you know. A lot of people are trying to get her to interview. She's just a very quiet person. Who is it? 313. That guy Rel. Go check out 313, his YouTube. That's the homie. He might get that interview because he's been talking to her, and I think he has a better shot than I do, and I'm just being honest. I'd love to interview her though. Thank you, Doobie. I will keep the dope content rolling as much as I can. Leslie wants to know what my opinion is on Edie. This is what I think about Edie, and this is from talking to Gonzo and some people close to the situation. I don't want to burn any more bridges than I already have in the last month, but people's main issue with Edie isn't anything that Edie is doing. Edie has a baby with Tupac's sister, but the problem that other people have with Edie is Edie won't tell Noble to shut up. Edie won't kind of put a collar on that dog, and that's why Edie gets drug into it. I don't think that Edie is a phony, but I think that Edie puts on an act that he knows more than he actually does. Who remembers the Vlad TV interview where Vlad asked Edie about the alternate version of Run the Streets, and Edie denied that it existed? I mean, come on. I mean, how do you not know that you rapped on it? You know, so that's my opinion on Edie. And I think other people's problem with Edie is just Edie won't take a stand. Edie won't go against the grain, and Edie wants to be diplomatic to everybody. And that's pretty much my opinion on Edie too. I interviewed him, and it was very, very brief and very rushed. And once the movie came along, those dudes were unreachable. I was able to talk to Edie and Noble and a lot of those dudes, but as soon as the movie comes out, then, you know, then they go Hollywood. And it's a shame, though. It's a shame because I respect them, but it seems like that they forget, before the movie came out, the people that were actually buying their music. We still exist. And they forgot about us when they got that little bit of money. But pretty soon they'll run out of that little bit of money, and they'll need us again, because the same people that you meet on the way up, you meet again on the way back down. Thank you all about Asia. I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. I love that you check out every live stream. It's dope to see all these familiar faces, and it's cool as fuck that you like my YouTube channel. I think it's cool. I'm just a guy who's a fan of Tupac, and everybody on here, it's amazing to me. Even though it's only 100 people, right? That's amazing to me that 100 people are fucking watching this. I don't care how many subs I have. Yo-Yo said that Tupac awoke in the hospital room and the surgery killed him. No, being taken off life support killed him. But his body was fucked up. Losing a lung, he was going into renal failure. 1 second. Honestly, I think that Afeni did the most merciful thing that she could for Tupac, because had he survived, even with the best case scenario, had Tupac survived, it wouldn't have been Tupac anymore. I don't want to piss anybody off, but I'm glad that it went the way it did if it had to go that way, if that makes sense. I'm glad that Tupac passed instead of lived the rest of his life in a wheelchair or with a colostomy bag and being, you know, our last memories of Tupac are Hit 'Em Up and you know, All Eyes on Me and Machiavelli and him balling on everybody. And I think that's the best way he can be remembered. And I think that's what he would want us to remember. And the thing is as much as there's people like Lay Legend and other little friends channels, I can't be really mad at these guys, because you know what? That's what Tupac wanted. He wanted Tupac, he wanted his fans to be guessing where he was, to think that he faked his own death, because it keeps the mystery alive. All Tupac ever wanted, and this came from Shock G, all Tupac ever wanted was to be known. And the fact that he made himself almost immortal. I mean, this guy, I just told Sadar, a good friend of mine, last night, that in 100 years from now, there could be a whole religion based on Tupac. That's how big of an impact. Only few people in history make that big of an impact. A Leonardo da Vinci type impact, a Harriet Tubman, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Elvis Presley type impact. And I kind of went off on one there, but you know what I'm saying. And I think that he wanted all this attention after he was gone. So as much as I don't like Lay Legend and I don't like DJ AG, one thing that we can be united on is that it's all about love for Tupac, and I try not to forget that. I try not to forget that. Haven't I heard anything about Tupac visiting a dude that he had no. No, and I don't believe all that AIDS needle shit. And here's why I don't believe anything about the AIDS needle shit. And you can Google this. HIV does not stay alive outside the bloodstream for more than 30 minutes. They would have to take a needle, withdraw the blood, keep it warm until the point that they inject it, and still it's a maybe. Bobby, thank you for that. But yeah, I think the needle shit is just, fucking Suge Knight says a lot of shit. But I don't believe that Tupac was finished off. I believe he just died. I don't believe anybody that comes out and claims to be Tupac's long lost family member or anything like that. So, okay, I'm going to scroll the bottom. I got about 5 more minutes, guys. I'll try to answer as many as I can. I didn't really mean this to turn into a Q&A, but I just wanted to address the Natasha Walker video and let you guys know that, look, there's a lot of content out there that I've got, but you have to take it for what it is. Tupac was a human being, and everybody's got a fucking opinion. They're like assholes. Everybody's got one. So there's gonna be some unpopular shit, that's being said, but you have to look at all these interviews as a whole. You know how you see like the cover of magazines that have a bunch of little pictures that make up the collage of the bigger picture? That's how I want you guys to digest these interviews. That would make me the happiest. Yep, and DJ Gary's right. Yeah, they did get on quick about that Tupac comment. JM Kazi, I tell you what, you build your platform, and I don't know how many subs you have. You get 1,000 subs, real subs. You get 1,000 subs, and I will let you interview me on your channel. I'm just giving you a goal. It's not about how many people you got. You get 1,000 subs, I will let you interview me. Do I think Pac had kids? You know what, Yeezy? That's a good question. Part of me wants to think he was sterile, but because I know he was fucking running through some women. But you know what? No, I don't. I think it's possible, though. I mean, there could be some thought out there that don't remember who the daddy is. There could be some dad that's been raising Tupac's son this whole fucking time, and the woman don't even know. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's possible. Nothing surprises me anymore. DJ Gary, DJ Bobcat got any Pac stories? Fuck yes, he does. I caught him on a live stream too. We were supposed to link up for that interview. That reminds me, I need to hit him back and bug the shit out of him until he does it. Oh, you know what? I'm talking about Battle Cat. I'm talking about Battle Cat. Mix, what you think of my OG channel? I'm working on more albums. Okay. I haven't checked it out yet, Steven, but I will. I'll let you know. 1,000 subs. I know, I'm sorry, Jose Acosta, you said, has anyone found out why they stopped at Suge's house for going 662? Yeah, it's real easy. They rolled a bunch of blunts. They rolled 5 or 6 blunts, and Suge got changed into that ugly-ass sweater. But with an entourage that big, it being fight night, they weren't rolling around with bags of weed on them. And even if you look at Biggie's autopsy report, it says that he had like a condom, some blunts, and some weed in his pocket. Tupac's body didn't have no weed on it. They went to Suge's house so they could roll up a bunch of blunts and go to 662 and just keep the blunts on them. and shit got changed. And then they had a bunch of, I've been to that house too. They had a bunch, it's the same house that they filmed Casino in. But there was a bunch of cars parked outside, and I think they kind of coordinated, okay, you're coming, you're coming, you're coming, let's go 662. The guy who played, hold on, the guy who played Pac in the movie looks like he could be a son. Demetrius Shipp Sr., his dad actually worked at Death Row, so it's a little weird. But, yeah, you know what? D. Shipp does look a lot like Tupac. But I've noticed that when D. Shipp tries to, when Meech tries to look like Tupac, he doesn't. It's only when Meech isn't trying to look like Tupac that you can see the Tupac in him. What if Pac planned to fake his death and used real bullets? I mean, we could play the what if game all day. I'm not going to ridicule that. I don't think that's likely. But, you know. Tommy D. What do you want to know about Tommy D, Freemal? Gregorosa, would I get the BMW if I could? No, you know what? I wouldn't want the car he died in, but the H1 Hummer just went back up for sale. And you know what? It's tempting to get a fucking mortgage and get $100 grand to go buy it, because I'd love to have his fucking Hummer. Just so I could play Don't Sleep in it. Where he's like, strap soldiers, evacuating. You know, I fucking butchered that, but you know what I'm talking about, dude. That's the dopest verse in the world. I would buy that H1 Hummer just to play Nutso's Don't Sleep in it and pop out that motherfucker. You know how balling that would be to pop out of that H1 Hummer playing Don't Sleep with a bunch of your fucking people flossing on motherfuckers? That'd be great. Battle Cat shit is nice. Is it? You know, I'm kind of drawing a blank on there, and it's probably just because it's live, dude, but I'm pretty sure I know who that is. Harris, what really happened between you and Daz? Daz asked me to pull an interview, and I was a smart ass to him, and I said in an email, I said, no, Delmar, I'll give you a platform to say something if you want to respond to it, but I'm not going to pull an interview down. How would you feel if you did an interview with me and someone told me to pull it down, and I did? And I said, I'm not going to help you. And that was our problem. He just said he'd see me when he seen me, and I won't do any more snitching on that. I know the H1 defaulted on by the. Can you believe that shit? Yeezy 808. JMix, there's 3-4 people in the bar with Orlando. Time of shooting, interview them. Well, 1 or 2 of them are dead. But I have something coming on that. I have some clarification coming on that. But I don't want Murder Rap to know. What up, Gunsmoke? Alright, guys. Couple minutes. You got any, you guys got any good questions before I jump? Yeah, here, I'm gonna give you a little tip before I go, JM Kazi. It's not about views. And YouTube algorithms don't work on views. I know that when you see a channel that has like 300,000 views on a video, you think it's a successful channel. That's not what makes it successful. You have to be consistent. The YouTube algorithm that they use is based on how consistent is the audience base growing and how consistent is the uploader in putting up new content. Because Google runs ads on it, and they want to invest in YouTube channels that make them the most money. So if you have a consistently growing subscriber base and consistent material you're putting up, Google will invest in you, and they will basically, you'll be in the recommended searches. People that are subscribed to similar channels will get notifications of your videos in the feed. So you need to be consistent, because trust me, I've had a video get 500,000 views and make me 10 cents, and I've had the Flossie video make me $1,600. It's just all about AdWords, and it's all about consistency. So just keep up your consistency, and I think your audience will grow. But keep in mind, I've got not that I'm any shining beacon here, but I have about 25,000 subs, and it's taken a long time because channels get taken down. And just be very, very careful about copyright. Just be very careful about music. Fuck, I got fucked over for music more times than I can even count. WWE, okay. Worldwide Entertainment TV. J-Mix, we should work together. We're partners with the old Tupac Center, now Legacy Garden. We got some news coming tomorrow. Right on. Here, I'm going to write down in the super chat my email. Don't spam me, bro. Don't spam me. You know what the thing is, Steven, about DPG is if they're not snakes, they act like it. J-Mix, do you watch Gab and Sam's channel? I've seen a couple of their videos, but I'm not subscribed to them. Why should I? Is there something that I'm missing? If Daz thinks J-Mix is snitching, what the hell is that Vlad interview about? Yeah, no fucking shit, right? Yeah, and Mike is right. You have to utilize social media. I just got a graph a couple days ago, and it hit the media. Most people, the top websites are Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Twitter's like number 13. So Twitter's not as important. Instagram is probably more important than any of them. When the Machiavelli book started trending, it was Instagram that was getting it. So Mike's absolutely right. Twitter's not as essential, which came as a surprise to me too. But yes, Facebook, Instagram, absolutely 100%. You know what? Real quick, I do want to address this. Harris, first of all, YouTube is kind of bitch made now. Dude, if you even knew. There was a point that I was balling. Now, I can't buy a sandwich with what I make off this motherfucker. Anyway, but it's not about the money, obviously, because I keep uploading. But X2 Rise said, do I think that Angie Martinez will ever release that hour-long interview she has with Tupac? I don't think it exists. I think what she had, we've already seen and heard, like the Vibe one, right? Where she's sitting there with him. Yeah, she put it all out. And because this rumor kind of kept going, I think she teases it and uses it as publicity. But yeah, I don't think she has it. I think she's bluffing. And that's just my opinion. You know, no insult to Angie Martinez, but I think she would have put it out by now. Do I use Adobe Photoshop? No, I use Sony Vegas, and it sucks. I did, you know what, Harris 2820, I have seen them on that video. Yes, I have seen them. YouTube is just demonetizing people that aren't politically correct, Adam. You know, so you got to be real careful how you word things now. It's a big censorship going on because apparently, you know, the story goes right-leaning media. But I wouldn't consider this right-leaning media, but I get demonetized, you know, for reasons I can't explain. I've seen my earnings drop 80%, but nobody cares about that. Patreon is not the new YouTube, but it's a new way to be able to be compensated for YouTube. Phoenix Sakura had a heart attack, and a lot of people believe Lethal Man that it was brought on by stress due to the ongoing lawsuits over the movie, and that's why there's so much hatred at the Outlaws right now. Okay. Estras DS? J-Mix, answer your question. Just make a channel that asks a question, but was Tupac as fearless as he portrayed? And against all odds, he seemed not to give a fuck about the consequences. Check this out. I think Tupac was a lot of bravado, but I think fearless? No, I don't think he was fearless. I think he was hot-headed. And hot-headed motherfuckers don't give a fuck when they're being hot-headed. They might give a fuck later. I'm not calling him a pussy by any means. I'm just saying there's a difference between being fearless and being hot-headed. Because I have a quick temper. And it's one thing to say something, but you don't know if Tupac would have lived if that record would have came out. He might have changed his mind. He changed his mind on the Friends song, and I think it's a dope song. AJ, I know White Pac shaved his head, and if you watch the prison interview, right, it's because he was losing his hair. His hairline was receding very, very quickly. That's why he shaved his head. Yeah, if you're putting out OG albums on there, Stephen Beale, you might be getting around it because they're not on SoundScan. But eventually, if someone from the estate sees that, they'll shut you the fuck down quick. No problem. No problem for answering the question. All right, guys. Yeah, Adam, you're right. All right, I'm gonna jump off here. Look, I appreciate all 100 of you guys coming on here. I appreciate the super chat donation. Um, Life of PSD is the homie. He supports me on Twitter. He's on my Patreon. I mean, I appreciate that super chat. It wasn't necessary, but thank you. Um, and I just want everybody to know, thanks for showing up. But I want to end it with the way I started it, if you don't mind. Here, let me hit this real quick. Okay. Look, some of these interviews that I'm putting up, you're going to disagree with the content of. It doesn't mean that the people are lying. If 5 people see the same car accident and you ask them each for a story of what happened at the car accident, you're going to get 5 different stories. So, don't be too hard on Natasha Walker. She's an East Coast girl. She's spitting East Coast rumor, and that's a heavy opinion on the East Coast. It doesn't make it true. But, I just wanted to tell you guys that, the more I've researched about Tupac for the last 10 years of my life, really heavily, the man had flaws. That's all. I mean, he had flaws, just like we all do. Look, life isn't a movie. You're not just Charles Bronson all the time. Tupac, we have to keep in mind, and this is no insult to him because I love Tupac. Thank you, Adam. You have a great night, too. But Tupac was a drama student, a ballerina dancer. I mean, he was a sensitive dude. He was a poet. So, yes, he was a vicious dude on the mic, and he had bravado for days. He told the judge basically to go fuck himself. Loved it. He was a cowboy. But he was a sensitive dude, too, and we got to keep that in mind. So, you're welcome, Derek, and thank you, everybody. But, take it easy on Natasha Walker. Listen to what she has to say. But with the interviews, what you have to do is take as much of them in as possible, and then make your decision based on a common consensus. And that's what I did on Battle for Compton, and that's what I try to do on my channel. I try to know what I'm saying if I say something, and I also try to represent people that I interview the way that they want to be represented. And that's what Natasha Walker had to say, and I wasn't going to argue with her. I wasn't focused on the murder. There was better things for me to talk about. So, thanks, guys. I appreciate it, and one love, everybody. I'll see everybody on the next upload. All right.